See, now that's some bullshit.
What's up guys, Strider here and I'm back with another video. Now, I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while, but I've just been putting it off like I always do. But I'm finally gonna talk about Cyberpunk 2077. Now, when I was originally gonna make this video, CD Projekt Red hadn't released their video where they came out with an apology. So I'm gonna briefly talk about that right now. So a couple days ago, on the 13th, co-founder of the project, Marcin Iwinski, made a video where he basically apologized for what happened, and he basically said that, you know, they're very sorry, that they didn't intend for this to happen, you know, they never wanted this to happen, obviously, and that, yeah, they were sorry, they came out with a roadmap, but, you know, basically didn't really give much information about what was coming. And I mean, it showed what was coming, but it didn't say when exactly. Like, it just showed what I guess a lot of us already knew, you know, the patches and the supposed DLC that's gonna come out a little bit later. And he also talked about the next gen upgrades, which was kind of surprising because a lot of people thought that the next gen upgrades were actually gonna come sooner, but no, they're actually, you know, they didn't say exactly when they were gonna come out, but from the looks of it, it's gonna be late this year. And that's, to be honest, that's pretty bad. You know, that just shows you just how bad it is and just how much work they are going to have to put in to fix this mess, because it was bad. Like, it was really bad. And it's kind of disappointing for other people who got PS5s and Xboxes, because now they're gonna have to wait, you know, almost till the end of the year for this to come out. I mean, it could come out sooner, I don't know, it doesn't say exactly when. But what did I get from this apology? I mean, it's the least they can do, right? It's the least they could have done, come out with an apology. Some people say they didn't have to, and they didn't, but it's a good thing that they did, because they're basically owning up to their mistake. And this guy here, this co-founder, he basically said, yeah, it's on me, like, I'm the one who basically gave the green light, and if anyone is to blame, it's him. But I also heard a lot of excuses. There was a lot of excuses on here. You know, he was talking about the process, about how difficult it was, and that they weren't expecting it to be such a challenge, and just basically excuses. You know, a lot of developer speak, and it just sounds like excuses. I mean, I know that he says that they didn't intend for this to happen, but they knew what was gonna happen. You know, they knew that the game wasn't ready, you know, and they still decided to release it anyways, you know, simply because of the money. Like, I don't think them delaying it another time was even on the cards. I mean, they probably knew that was the best thing to do, but, you know, they weren't going to risk it, because having this game come out just before Christmas was like, it was like the best thing, because a lot of people bought this game so that they could, you know, give it as a Christmas gift to whoever, right? And that was a lot of money that they were gonna lose. So they knew what they were doing, and they did it anyways, which is the shitty part. It's the really shitty part, because they knew this game wasn't ready, especially on the base consoles. Like, this game, to be honest, it shouldn't even have been out, shouldn't even come out for the base consoles. But again, they weren't going to cancel it. There was just way too much money already made. Like, just all the people who pre-ordered for the PS4 and the Xbox, they were not gonna cancel it. You know, that would have they would have lost so much money had they came out and said PS4 and Xbox versions are canceled. And you know, he also made it seem like the PC version was like the best. I mean, obviously, if you played this game on the PC, it was more tolerable, but it wasn't all that amazing on launch. You know, there was a lot of problems on launch. It wasn't as bad as the consoles because it was at least playable, but it wasn't perfect like he wants you to think. So that's just my opinion on the apology. But my main issue with this game, and this is something that I've wanted to talk about for a while, and it's something that not a lot of people mention. I've seen a few videos that share my opinion, and it's obviously the minority of people who feel this way, but a lot of videos, I think the majority of videos, all say the same thing. They all talk about the bugs, they all talk about the glitches, you know, how the game is broken, the obvious stuff, right? And they say it in a way that, you know, by fixing the bugs and the glitches, the game is going to be perfect. And in my opinion, that's not the case. This game goes beyond the bugs, beyond the glitches. I think that bugs and glitches can be fixed, but this game has some fundamental problems that I don't think can be fixed with just a simple patch. You know, they would have to literally go in there and just rework the entire, you know, the core of the game basically. And that's not something that they can do in a short time, and honestly I don't think they're gonna do it, because there's a lot of cut content in this game and it's very obvious, you know. It's if you go back and you look at all the trailers and the videos they released, you know, you go back to those videos and you see a lot of the things from those videos are not in the game. There's a video by Young Rippa where he basically watches the gameplay reveal, which it's like the first mission where you go into that apartment with Jackie, and he watches that video where it's like the whole first mission, and he compares it to what we get in the game, and there's a lot of missing things in you know, in that version that they released, the gameplay review basically. And those are things that cannot be fixed with, you know, patches, because yeah, they can obviously, if this game didn't have bugs and glitches, I think that none of this controversy would have even started. I can guarantee you that if this game had released in a very, very, very playable state, none of this controversy would have happened. But just because this game came out broken the way that it did, it caused all this backlash. But I played this game and I was like, this game is kind of, you know, it's missing something, you know. And I'm gonna try not to make this a very long video, but now that I think about it, I think it's gonna be pretty long, because I just have a lot of things on my mind in regards to this game. And while let me say this game is not bad. It's not a bad game, you know. I'm gonna say that it's a good game, you know. It's a good game, but I just feel like it had so much potential, and it just didn't live up to that potential. And I feel like I'm in the minority when I say this, but you know, this game was just way too overhyped. And I don't want to sound like I'm some sort of guru, but I had a feeling that something like this was gonna happen, because I actually saw the signs very, very early on. But you know, I don't want this video to get, you know, messy and go all over the place, so I actually have some bullet points that I want to talk about. Now I don't know if I'm gonna actually follow them all, because there are quite a few, but I'm just gonna go and see how it goes, you know. So obviously the bugs and the glitches, right? I mean, everybody knows by now all the bugs and glitches in this game. You can watch, there's countless videos of bugs and glitches, just hilarious. They're just hilarious. Like, watching them, it's crazy. I think the funniest one is when you're riding your bike, and like all of a sudden your character just, you know, does the T-pose and his pants come off. And I've had that happen to me once. Like, I was literally driving and I T-posed and my pants just came off, and his you know, his dinghy was hanging out, and I'm like, really? Oh my god. And I had quite a few bugs. I didn't have any game breaking bugs, because I played this game after the second patch, but I did have some weird bugs where my guns were invisible. Like, I couldn't see my guns. I had, you know, some of the NPCs, their bodies were like all like deformed. You know, some of them had like their necks were like elongated and like twisted necks. It was weird. But I didn't have any significant game breaking bugs or glitches where it just downright just broke my system. One thing I did experience though was I was having a hard time getting my game to run at a stable frame rate. I don't have the best PC out there, but I have a pretty decent PC that is capable of running this game at a consistent 60 frames per second, because that's what I was going for. I was like, I don't care if I don't have ray tracing on or none of that nonsense. As long as I can play this game at 60 FPS, I'm good. But I was having a hard time getting it to run at 60 frames. Like, and when I first booted up the game, it was running fine, but then all of a sudden it just started, you know, dipping, and I was getting constant stuttering, and it was just very, very frustrating. I actually had to like tweak some settings on my own. I had to download a mod that fixed it, and basically I had to tweak the game myself. Like, the in-game settings were useless. I had to, you know, fix my problem externally, which is stupid, because obviously the game settings should be there to fix it. I even had NVIDIA optimize my game for me, and it still wasn't working. So that was very annoying. But that was just in the very beginning that started happening. So I mean, what else can I say about the bugs and the glitches? Everybody knows, everybody has seen them by now. The game was obviously rushed, and it might not make sense because this game was in development for 8 years. Now the reality is that it wasn't really 8 years. I think they started development on this game in 2017, I believe. It was either 2016 or 17. So I guess the other years prior they were just like planning, but it was obvious that this game was not ready. It was rushed, and the reason why it was rushed is because of the money, the profits. You know, they had already delayed this game, what, like 3-4 times, I believe. I think it was like 4 times. Could have been 5. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with 4. But I mean, can you imagine now though? Could you imagine if they had released this game back in what, March? I think March was the original date. Oh my goodness, like I could just imagine how that game was going to be if they had released it in March. I mean, if it was bad in December, just imagine how it would have been in March. So obviously it wasn't ready. Even the PC version wasn't ready. It doesn't matter if the PC version is the most playable version, it wasn't ready. And I don't want to hear people, because there's a bunch of idiots out there who, there's always people who are like, well, I didn't experience any problems, you know, I was playing it on the base PS4 and my game was running smooth, I didn't have any problems. Like, okay, good for you, but a lot of people did have problems. So just because you didn't have problems doesn't mean that the game doesn't have problems. I mean, I've had situations where I've had a game and I didn't have any problems, but other people did have problems. Like, for example, Battlefield 4. When I played Battlefield 4, I didn't really experience any big problems, and a lot of people did. My friend, his game was broken, he couldn't even join matches. So just because I didn't have problems doesn't mean that they don't exist. So I don't want to hear that excuse, because I hate hearing that excuse. You always see that in the comments, always. There's always someone saying, well, I didn't have any problems. It's like, good for you, like really good for you, but the game does have problems. And again, they were not going to cancel the console versions, because let's be honest, I think they should have just canceled the base versions. They should have just canceled the base versions and say, look, this game is too ambitious, it's too difficult to get running on the base consoles properly without major issues, major overhauls, and a lot of work. So we're just going to cancel the base consoles version and make it a next gen version only. And hey, everyone who bought it for the PS4, Xbox will have a free upgrade for the next consoles. Now, that's what they should have done, right? But it's, if they advertised it on the PS4 and Xbox, I mean, they should have been able to deliver. Now, if they weren't going to cancel it, I think they should have just delayed it again. They should have just delayed it, and of course people were gonna be upset. But I think it would have been the best option to delay it. And I'm gonna say this: they should have delayed this game till 2022. They should have just delayed it till 2022, or maybe late 2021, like the September of this year would have been a better date. I mean, I wouldn't have minded. I mean, the world's not gonna end, at least I don't think so. But obviously people were gonna get mad, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute, because this game, believe it or not, has fanboys. There's a lot of fanboys that defend this game, defend CD Projekt Red, and they will attack you if you say anything negative about it. And there are a certain group of fanboys who actually blame gamers. And I had a friend who was actually saying this exact same thing. He was saying that the people who were upset about the delays are the ones to blame, because they forced the developers to rush the game and to release it. And that is a load of BS. Like, you cannot tell me that upset gamers are to blame for this catastrophe. The developers themselves are to blame. The gamers are not to blame, okay? Obviously, there were some people who were over-exaggerating when they would announce delays. Obviously. But to say that these people are responsible for what CD Projekt Red themselves did is a joke. CD Projekt Red knew this game was unfinished, it was unpolished, it wasn't ready, it wasn't optimized for the old consoles, and they still put it out anyways. They knew the backlash was gonna, was gonna be big. They knew they were gonna get, like, they knew they were gonna get roasted, and they still did it. Basically, they were like, alright, we know that shit's gonna hit the fan, but let's just see how bad it is. They were kind of like praying for a miracle, like maybe they won't notice, maybe they won't care. That's what they were hoping for, I'm guessing. But they got what they deserved, all the criticism, it's all deserved, and they don't have anybody else to blame but themselves. Can't blame anybody else, and fanboys will defend them to death. They will say that this game, there's people who say that this game is a 10 out of 10 game of the year. This game is not game of the year. Sorry, but it's not game of the year. It's a good game, but it's not game of the year. I'm sorry. Another thing I want to talk about are the YouTube shills. The YouTube shills also have a part to play in this, because there was a lot of YouTube shills who were flown out. They got to meet the developers, they got all this swag, all these exclusive information. They got obviously free game keys, free game codes, all this benefits and perks. And it's quite funny that none of them said anything. Now, I know that they signed a contract where they basically couldn't really say anything, and they only could show footage that was approved by CDPR. But I still find it kind of messed up that out of the many shills, none of them, not even one, sort of hinted at the possibility that this game could be in trouble. They couldn't even hint like, hey guys, I can't say anything, but maybe reconsider your pre-order. Maybe you want to like back out right now because things aren't looking good, something along those lines. Like, these guys, the fact that they signed a because basically what it is, it's like you sign a contract so you can keep silent. Like, you sign this contract and you can't say anything, and that's pretty shady to me. When you're signing a contract that you cannot talk about the game, that's pretty shady. And those were some of the red flags that CDPR was showing before this game released. Because the first sign that I saw was when, I think it was E3 2017 or 18, where they had the gameplay, where they showed gameplay to a select group of people behind closed doors, and they didn't reveal it to the public. When that happened, I was pretty upset, because I was like, why are you only showing this gameplay to a certain group of people? And of course there was a lot of YouTube shills in there, and the fact that they didn't show the public. Obviously they showed the public like later on, but I was like, why couldn't they show us that? I didn't understand that. Like, it was strange to me that they didn't show us. And this is a company that's pro gamer, they're all about the gamer, but yet they're hiding stuff. Like, what are you hiding? And every YouTuber who got access was like, oh my god, this game it's amazing, it's gonna be the next coming of Jesus Christ. That's how they made it out to be. Obviously they saw the footage of the first mission, and obviously if you saw that, you got excited, because that gameplay reveal was epic. Like, it was like, oh my god, like this looks amazing. Like when I saw that gameplay, and I was reluctant to watch it because I wanted to go into this game without really knowing a lot, but I just couldn't help myself, and I needed to watch it. I needed to watch this game because I have been hyped for this game since the teaser, which came out in 2012, and I'm gonna talk about that teaser a little bit later, because watching it now, it kind of makes me think, like, what happened during that time. Like, I really want to know what exactly went on in the meetings and such, because it would be interesting to know when everything shifted, because this game, during the development of this game, something happened in there that they decided to shift things. And I don't know who said this, but somebody said this. I think it was like during when they got Keanu Reeves to be in the game, that things kind of started to change, because obviously they kind of started to overhype this game. You know, they started to kind of like overhype this game so that a lot of people would get into it, like casuals and just everybody in general, because, you know, oh, Keanu Reeves, oh my god, John Wick, he's like the hottest thing right now. You know, they're just trying to appease the casuals by hiring John Wick. I mean, let's be honest here, that's the only reason why they got John Wick. I mean, they had John Wick at E3, and everybody was like, you know, head over heels for him. I mean, I love Keanu Reeves. He's a great actor, but you know, his role in the game, I didn't really like it. I didn't really like his role in the game, to be honest. I just felt like the story was way too focused on him, and I just felt like I just didn't like his character. And I want to be honest with you guys, but Keanu Reeves' performances is pretty meh. It's pretty mediocre. Like, it's not that great. Like, some of his lines are just kind of lazy. Like if he was bored or something, he just didn't want to be there. Like, he was just like, I'm just here to get paid, you know? That's what it sounded like to me. I don't know. So yeah, all these YouTube shills, you know, shame on you, because all these guys, you know, they got exclusive access, exclusive footage, all this swag, all this merch, statues. They got the game for free. They got to go meet the creators. They went to Poland. All this. They went to E3. They got to see the footage, and not a single one ever hinted at the possibility that this game was gonna flop. And you could say, well, they didn't know because they saw the footage that everybody saw. But it's like, yeah, but they got to play the game though. They got to play the game early than everybody else. So you're telling me that all these guys who got the game early, not a single one experienced a problem. You're telling me that every single one of these guys who got the game early, all their games ran smooth, no bugs, no glitches, no crashes, nothing. I find that really hard to believe, and this is why I always say, don't believe these people. Don't believe. The minute someone gets flown out, wined and dined, gets all this swag, all this merch, all this exclusive access, the minute that happens, the minute they do that, all their credibility is lost. Any review that they make, anything like that, I don't buy it. I don't buy it, I don't believe it, because these guys are shills. You know, they're used as marketing. You know, and none of them are gonna say anything really negative, because it's like, why would you say something negative? That's just gonna like get you to lose, you know, all those benefits. You know, and it's quite ironic how as soon as shit hits the fan, all these same YouTubers come out and make videos bashing the game, criticizing CDPR. And you know, when they gave their reviews, 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10, 10 out of 10, game of the year, blah blah blah. And now all of a sudden, oh, the game is broken, the game is bad, CD Projekt Red, shame on you, CD Projekt Red is a disgrace. It's like, how does your opinion change from one day to the next? You know, it's very obvious that they're only doing that to appease the crowd. They know that gamers are mad, they know their gamers are upset, and they just want to stay on everybody's good graces. They want to stay on the gamers' good graces because they're the ones that are going to watch their videos. They're the ones that are going to give them clicks and views and revenue. And they also want to stay on the developers' good graces. It's kind of like they just want to have good publicity, you know. It's probably like yo, CD Projekt Red, you know, like, I hate to have to do this to you, but I kind of have to talk bad about you, but I'm just joking. Like, don't take it like seriously. I'm just joking. I'm just trying to appease these idiots who are gonna eat up anything I say. And that's basically how they're trying to go about things. At least that's the way I see it. Because it's like, 1 minute you're praising this game, saying it's a 9 out of 10 game of the year, and then in less than 24 hours you're saying that this game is a disgrace, that it's broken, that it's bad. Like, what? How does that work, you know? Like, just be honest, be genuine, just say, hey, I'm a shill, I'm bot, I have to do this because I have to save face, you know? But enough about YouTube shows and all these guys, because they just piss me off, because just how ungenuine they really are. And it's like, these people don't care. They don't care about you, they don't care about gaming, they don't care about anything. All they care about is themselves. They care about making money, and that's it. And hey, that's how they want to do things. Go ahead, it's their channel, it's their thing, you know, whatever. But I don't believe these guys. These guys aren't credible. You know, a lot of people say GameSpot, IGN aren't credible, but neither are these guys. Neither are they, because they're the same. They do the same, and they do the same thing. Alright, so enough about that. I'm already gotten way too long into this. But, so, like I said, this game is beyond the bugs. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, I have a few points here, and I'm gonna just talk about them. The first thing that I noticed when I played this game was, I haven't heard anybody else say this, but in my opinion, the customization options for the characters are pretty lackluster. I thought that there was gonna be way more customization. There's not even that many. First of all, there's not even that many hairstyles. There's not that many hairstyles. Like, there's only maybe 2 hairstyles that look decent on a male character, which is the default hair, which is like kind of like the fade, and the one that his hair is like kind of spiky. That's it. The rest of them are pretty whack. Number 2, the eyes. There's not even a lot of eye colors. There's like maybe 10 eye colors, and the rest are like, half of them are just like random crap, like literally hearts, an 8-ball, what is it, like a soccer ball or clover, I don't know. It's just a bunch of random objects that you can put on your eyes. Like, instead of an iris, you have like a heart, or like an 8-ball. It's like, what is that? It's so lazy and cheap. Like, what happened to all the, and you can't even at least I didn't see it, but there's no like color slider. Like, you can't even create your own color. What's up with that? And the hair colors, whack. Not even a lot of options. There's like 5 hair colors, and some of them look weird. Like, there's like this I picked, it was like red. I think it was like red and blue. No, it's on the screen, it's pink. It says pink, right? But it looks red. But then when you actually play it in the game, it just looks weird. I don't know. Like, the hair colors in this game are lackluster as well. Like, the customization in general, the options, pretty bare bones, nothing really special. I like the augments, like the cybernetics on the face. I thought that was pretty cool. The tattoos, it's alright. Um, and well, hey, if you wanted to customize your genitals, there's that for people who are interested in that. And I'm like, why is that even a thing? Like, I don't understand why the hell they thought customizing your genitals was something that people wanted. Like, who wanted that? Remember, they actually took time to develop that. It's baffling, but I guess they thought, hey, people wanted to see people's schlongs, What else? Oh yeah, and you can even customize your height, your weight. Hell, even Fallout 4, you could customize your weight. Like, come on. I mean, a game where it's like in the future that you can enhance your body, and you can't even customize your body type. What's up with that? It's pretty lackluster, and not a lot of people have actually mentioned that, which is surprising, because when it comes to games where you can create your characters, I look into these things, and I'm the type of person that will spend 1 or 2 hours just creating my character, just trying to make them look as best as I can. But in this game, there was so few options that I was just like, there's really nothing to change. Most of the options are pretty whack. I mean, I ended up just going with the standard face. All I did was I changed his hair to the spiky hair and made it red, and that was it. And I gave him a tattoo on the back of his neck. That was it. Such grand customization. Another thing that really let me down, this was the worst thing for me, was the life paths. They were so mediocre that I couldn't believe this was what they actually had intended. Like, I feel like that they had intended for this to be so much more than it actually is, because the life paths in this game are a joke. It's literally one mission. It's like a 15-minute mission. That's it. I started off as a nomad, right? So I played the game, and in less than 15 minutes, I was already in Night City. And I was like, wait a minute, am I missing something? Did I miss something? And so I went on YouTube and I searched up Cyberpunk gameplay nomad. And I watched this person, and it was the same as mine. I was like, wait, no, I didn't miss anything. That's just how the game is. Now, maybe I was expecting more. Maybe I was expecting too much, but I was expecting something along the lines of Dragon Age Origins. Now, for those who haven't played Dragon Age Origins, in my opinion, it's one of the best RPGs ever made, with some of the best intros. So if you haven't played Dragon Age Origins or heard of it, basically you create your character, right? You can create a human, an elf, or a dwarf. Now each race has its own story, has its own origin. So for example, a human, you can be a human noble, and if you play as a mage, you play as a mage in the circle. The circle is basically, it's like a prison for mages, right? And each origin has a different story. Like, you play as a noble, and you start off in your castle with your family, and then you play, you get to experience your race, your origin story. And if you play as an elf, you can play as a city elf, who's like, they're basically poor slaves, kind of. Or you can play as a Dalish, which is like part of a clan, a close-knit group. Or you dwarf, you play as a noble dwarf, or a commoner, who is just, a common man. Each race and origin has its own unique intro, and honestly, that's how I thought they were going to handle it like that. I literally thought that. Maybe I was dumb to think that. Maybe they showed gameplay of the life path and I just didn't see it. But that's what I thought they were gonna do, because I had faith in CD Projekt Red. I had faith, I had hope in them, and it was a huge letdown. So it's like, okay, let me try Street Kid, same thing. Let me try Corpo, same thing. And I'm like, dude, they hyped up these life paths so hard just for them to be this. I was like, this is just disappointing, honestly. Like, honestly, I don't even know what was the point of making life paths. I think they were just, with what we got, waste of time. They're just a waste of time, pointless. They should have just scrapped it. Just have Street Kid be the canon, because honestly, Street Kid feels like the canon anyway. So they might as well have just made Street Kid and just focus on Street Kid. That's it. But I don't know. Maybe they had bigger plans for the life paths. Maybe not. Who knows? Also, you know, there's not really any significant choices in this game. Like, let's be honest. I think the majority of people's playthroughs are all gonna be the same. You know, everyone's gonna make the same decisions. There's nothing really in this game that changes from playthrough to playthrough, aside from one or two choices and the ending. Now, I'm not gonna spoil the game. I should have said this in the beginning. I really should have. I'm not gonna spoil the game because for people who haven't played it, but there's no significant choices in this game. I think every playthrough is gonna be the same, aside from the ending and one or two choices, but it's gonna be the same. This is not, if you're expecting a Mass Effect style experience, a Dragon Age style experience, I'm sorry to hate to break it to you, but it's not gonna be like that. And that's what I was expecting. I honestly expected a Dragon Age Mass Effect experience, but it was like a discount version of Mass Effect in terms of choices. Really disappointing. You know, I feel like the game was very linear. The very linear game. Like, I just felt like this game, I don't know. Now, the thing that disappointed me the most was the fact that they changed this game from an RPG to a action adventure. I think it was action adventure or action RPG. And I never saw this until actually very recently. At some point, they changed the game to an RPG. They changed it to action adventure RPG. They changed it on their Twitter. And I think that obviously, I think that they knew that they were way in over their heads when they were making this game, and they're like, we can't do this. We don't have the time to do this. Let's just make a linear story. I think that's the way it went down. And it sucks because this game was just, I honestly thought this was going to be one of the best games ever made. And I have to say this, but I mean, it's a good game. I have to be honest, it's a good game. It's not a bad game, but it's not the best game ever made. It's far from the best game ever made. It's not even a top 50 best games ever made. I'm not afraid to say it. And you know, it sucks because I just hope it just doesn't come out the wrong way, but it sucks that that games like this are casualized, that they're catering to casuals and normies who don't really even care about like RPGs and stuff like that. And I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh no, like I don't want these people to play this game, like I want this game to stay with real gamers and blah blah blah. But it's like this game was meant to be an RPG experience, you know. And along the lines, they saw that I guess it was more profitable to make this an action game, to try to, because let's be honest, this game, when this game was first announced in 2012, and even before the reveal of the gameplay, right? This game obviously was very anticipated by a lot of people, but it wasn't on the level that it is just before this game came out, when they got Keanu Reeves and all that. You know, if you look at the people playing Cyberpunk, it's casuals, a lot of casuals, a lot of YouTubers who play casual games like Call of Duty. They play Fortnite. They play sports games. Those are the people who are playing this game. Those are the people who are catering this game for. And it's like, and these people, they won't mind that the game doesn't have a lot of choices, that there's not a lot of customization, that the life paths were linear, you know, that there's no real significant RPG elements. They don't care about that, because they're not RPG fans. You know, a lot of, I can guarantee you that maybe half of the fan base of Mass Effect was excited for this game, because I'm in a Mass Effect group, and I think a lot of I will say that the majority of the members were hyped up for Cyberpunk, because, you know, it's like, hey, it's another futuristic RPG game, just like Mass Effect. You know, Mass Effect was inspired by Blade Runner, by Star Wars, and if you know me, I love Blade Runner. Blade Runner is one of my most favorite movies. I love both of the movies. I love the world. I love the books. Just everything about Blade Runner fascinates me. And when I saw Cyberpunk, I immediately thought about Blade Runner. You know, it's like, shit, I love Blade Runner. And obviously a lot of Mass Effect fans do as well. And so just knowing that they're making an RPG about Cyberpunk just excited a lot of us, me especially. Like, this game, when this game first was teased in 2012, I was hyped. But then I started to see that this game was starting to get a little bit too overhyped. I started to see all this marketing, all this propaganda. I don't want to say propaganda, but all these YouTubers shilling for it. Like, it was just, people were hyping this game up to crazy levels. And that's when I started seeing that. I started seeing casuals getting hyped up for this game. I started seeing Call of Duty streamers and people who play casual games. And look, there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong if you play those games, even though I think those games are garbage and they're destroying the gaming industry. But when I started to see those people getting hyped up for this game, and those are the people that were shilling for the game, I kind of had a feeling that this game was in trouble. Because I'll give you an example. Mass Effect 1 is the only true RPG from the 3. If you play Mass Effect 1 and you play 2 and 3, you'll notice the difference in games. You'll notice that Mass Effect 1 is more story driven. It's more RPG based. Like, there are a lot of RPG elements in that game, and it sacrifices all that for story. You know, the combat isn't that great. You know, it's playable, but where Mass Effect 1 shines is its story, its world building, exploration, characters. But EA stepped in, and Mass Effect 2 and 3, while being amazing games, you could tell that they shifted the focus from RPG to action. And you know, it is disappointing to me, but I mean, I don't think there's other games that do what Mass Effect and Dragon Age do. You know, I don't think there's any other game out there that will come close to the story, world building, character building, relationships, romances. I don't think any game has come close to doing what BioWare has done. Even though BioWare has been pretty bad lately, I think CD Projekt Red probably could have borrowed more aspects from BioWare than whatever other game that, you know, I feel like they probably borrowed a lot of elements from Fallout 4. I think they played Fallout 4 and they're like, this is what we want to base our game towards, because it's like there's a lot of random junk out there. There's just junk everywhere. You just collect random junk. I'm like, if they were gonna get ideas from a Fallout game, why didn't they get ideas from Fallout New Vegas? I mean, this is what CD Projekt Red should have just done this. They should have just had people playing Fallout New Vegas, Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2. Just play all the Dragon Age games, play the Mass Effect games except Andromeda. The game's garbage. And Fallout New Vegas. Have them play those games. Take ideas from those games. Play a damn Rockstar game so that you can get your physics right, your driving, because it's atrocious. I'll get to that. But they should have just done that. But they just decided to make a linear game. No choices, no significant choices. Like, there's no impact. The choices you make in this game don't impact the world. The world stays the same. You could literally attack a gang, right? Or you can do a mission where you attack a certain gang, and you drive up to that gang and they won't even shoot you. It's like if they don't even know you. Whereas in Fallout New Vegas, you attack a gang or a group, and you basically become enemies. Or if you do a mission that's against them, you become enemies. That's impacting the world. You know, if you join the NCR and you actively go against Caesar's Legion is gonna attack you and hunt you down, send assassins after you, and vice versa. You join Caesar's Legion, everyone's gonna be hostile towards you. But no, this game is like, oh, you attack this gang, and then next mission that you drive around, the gang is just like, oh, what's up, bro? Now, I wanna say that the reason it's like that is because they didn't have enough time to implement these these elements into the game. I want to believe that because, again, they said that there was gonna be a train that will take you from city to city. I mean city to city, from like place to place. That's not in the game. There's a train station, but there's nothing there, clearly showing that it's unfinished. They said that we were gonna have multiple apartments, and nothing. We just got one apartment. The armory that's in your apartment is useless. You can't even store items there. It's just for show. This is proof that the game was unfinished. They literally had things that they wanted to implement and they just didn't. Had they just, had they been smart, well, okay, the smart thing was that for them the smart thing was releasing the game in a broken state, and get the profits, right? They basically sacrificed their reputation for profits. Whereas had they delayed the game, of course they would have faced some backlash, but hey, you get to work on the game like you intended to. You get to add the things you wanted to add, and by the time the game's out, it's gonna be a masterpiece, and no one's gonna even care that it was delayed like 20 times. I would have been okay if they delayed this game till 2022. I really would have been okay with it, because by that time there would have been the next gen version. The game would have been optimized. They could have maybe added whatever it is that they intended to add. They could have added, the train station. They could have made the life paths better. They could have added more customization. They could have had more apartments, more apartments you can purchase. But they just no, I guess obviously the higher ups didn't care. They just wanted the money, and that's what they went with. And hey, they sacrificed their reputation, because CD Projekt Red right now is their reputation is destroyed. They're basically another EA, another Activision now. They just care about the profits, Ever since they started getting popular, they basically went to the dark side. That's basically what happened. They went to the dark side. They saw the money and they took it, and they said, F the gamers. F the gamers, we're a business, we're a company. Profits are the most important thing. And it's sad. It's pretty sad, But what can we do? I think at this point, every company is going to cave in one day. I think it's just a matter of time. It's very, very few companies now that actually care about the gamers. Every other company just, once they get bought out by a bigger entity, it's over. But I wanted to talk about something else, but it slipped past me. Let's see, maybe I'll remember it, but I don't know. Okay, what's next? Yeah, okay, so the physics in this game are atrocious, dude. There are no, the fact that GTA 3, GTA San Andreas, GTA Vice City 4, Sleeping Dogs, Watch Dogs, what other games, Red Dead, all these games have better physics than your 2020 game. It's pathetic. Hell, there was even a mobile game called something Vegas. It had better physics than this game. Now, a lot of fanboys will say, well, who cares about the physics? This game isn't about physics. It's not GTA. Oh, but they tried to make it like GTA. They literally tried to make it like GTA. They even said it themselves that it was gonna be the biggest and best open world game to date, with the best elements and the best everything. They literally said that. If you don't believe me, watch the gameplay trailer, the gameplay reveal. They even say it. It's like, dude, I know that this is their first time doing this, but it's just bad. It's bad. The physics in this game are a disgrace. Like, the NPCs are a joke, dude. They are a joke. And this is why I think it's a big deal, because having it like this makes the world feel less alive. It makes the world feel dead. It makes it feel fake. I mean, I know it's a game, right? But aren't these games supposed to immerse you into their world? But then you have NPCs who are literally brain dead. They don't know what to do. NPCs who disappear. They just all cower down and they don't do anything. They don't run away. They don't try to fight back. They just stand there, sit there, and then they just spout nonsense. Like, you'll shoot one and they're like cowering in fear, and they're like, "Hey, what's up?" It's like, bro, I'm literally shooting at you. What are you saying? And the same thing goes with the cops. The cops are a joke. They are a joke. You shoot someone, you commit a crime, there's like 20 officers that spawn behind you and kill you in an instant. There's no police chases. You can get in a car and disappear in like 5 seconds. What the hell's up with that? What the hell's up with that? What's the point of even having these elements if you're not going to implement them properly? You might as well not even have it. You might as well not even have this open world aspect of your game if you're not going to do it properly. The driving in this game is atrocious as well. Try driving on keyboard and mouse. It is horrendous. It is horrendous. Like, I literally had to switch the controller because of how bad the driving in this game, and you have to do a lot of it. It's horrendous, you know. And again, I know that this is their first time doing this, but it's like, if you can't do it right, then don't do it at all. You know, it sucks that Cyberpunk had to be their test. You know, this was their like guinea pig where they were testing these elements out, because this was the most anticipated game and all these elements were just poorly implemented. You know, just the fact that a mobile game has better physics than your game is a joke. It's a joke. You know, you drive into the water with your car and your water just, it doesn't even splash, it doesn't even react to the water. It literally just goes under the ground. I'm like, you ever heard of gravity? When an object touches the water, the impact. Even old games have that. It's inexcusable for a game of 2020 to not have just these little details. I mean, just look at, say what you will about GTA 5 and GTA 4, and maybe, you know, even if you don't like GTA, just the amount of details in those games is just like, and I don't know who said this, but it's true. It's like those details you can miss them so easily, because we were so spoiled by all these details that Rockstar has given us in their games, that you kind of expect it in every game now. So when you play Cyberpunk, you're like, what the heck, what is this? You can't even shoot the wheels on the car. You can't even shoot the wheels. They don't get flat. It's like the NPCs are brain dead. If you drive in front of an NPC's car, they will just stay there. They will not move. They will stay there and they will not move. In GTA 3, any game, any old game, you get in front of an NPC in the car, they will reverse and drive around, or they will just drive through. They will go around. They'll try to do something to get away, to get around you. That doesn't happen in this game. The NPCs are brain dead. They don't know what to do. They're coded in a specific route, and if their route is interrupted, they just go nuts and they don't know what to do. And hell, sometimes they'll even just disappear. They'll despawn from the game entirely. It's that bad. What else do we got here? Alright, so my phone ran out of battery, so I'm back. So what was I saying? Okay, so another thing that really annoyed me about this game is the gear in this game. Now there's a lot of gear in this game, a lot of weapons and clothing, obviously, but one thing that I really hated was the fact that most of the time your character ended up looking like a human trash bag, like literally a mix mash of just random gear. Like I'd have this, like, you know, sparkly jacket with these like weird looking pants and like boots, like dress boots, and like those like what are those hats, those weird like hats that grandpas wear. So I was looking like a freaking like mashup of random clothes. And that's one thing about a lot of RPGs are guilty of this, not just this game, where you basically just wear whatever has the best stats, you know. Like there could be a piece of clothing that looks awesome, but it's not as good as this like neon green tank top with these clown shoes and this fedora. So you're kind of like, okay, I guess I gotta wear it because it has a higher stat. And it's like, especially in the game where they emphasize style, like, oh, we have all these different styles, like gangster, fancy, you got people made out of chrome, like they try to push that in your face, like style, like yeah, style is everything. And interestingly enough, when they revealed this game, the gameplay, in the character creation screen, they had an option where you can choose your style, and you basically, like, your style was going to like maybe affect the gameplay, like, you know, like, hey, you're looking real stylish, you know, maybe somebody like saw you and like gave you a quest, or, you know, if you were dressed a certain style, you can enter, I don't know, a club or some sort of like bar. I don't know. There's so much they could have done with that, but it's obvious that they never really implemented it into the game like what they envisioned, and that's why they took it off from the character's creation screen, because I get the feeling that they probably had to scrap anything like in regards to that. So style doesn't really matter in this game. Like for the most part, you're just gonna be wearing a mashup of different items until you obviously unlock the best items in the game, which, you know, is your samurai gear. But that really annoyed me, because again, like I said, a lot of games are guilty of that, not just Cyberpunk. And, you know, it's very simple. I don't know why games have not taken this example. If any of you have ever played Star Wars The Old Republic on the computer, they have a designer, what's it called, tab, where you basically can create your own outfits. And what I mean by that is, let's say there's an awesome piece of gear that you like, it looks sick, and you want to keep that gear, but obviously you want to have your character with better stats. So basically what they let you do is you can keep that awesome gear that you like so much, and your character will appear with that item, but his base items are like the higher stat items. Like, you have your favorite piece of armor on your character equipped, so when you go into cutscenes and gameplay, your character is wearing your favorite armor, or the armor that you want him to wear, and you don't have to sacrifice stats. And that's an amazing thing that they did, because if you have ever played Star Wars: The Republic, you want to make your character look badass. Like, I have several characters, and I have like some pretty cool armors on them, and I don't have to sacrifice the way my character looks just to get better stats. I have my awesome outfit with the stats to back me up. And they could have just done something like that, and a lot of games can just do something like that, something similar to that, which is annoying, because it's like, you want to, especially in Cyberpunk, like, I have to stress this enough, like, this is a game where you are basically in control. You can just be whoever you want. Like, it's a world where people get augments, and style is a big thing, and you can't even really dress how you want. You like, let's say you want to be an awesome, you want to have an awesome character that has like a suit, like a a business suit, but like an assassin type of build, where you're like with a suit, like Hitman style, or you just want to be like a gangster, like wear chains and baggy clothes and sneakers, and or just want to be like a decked out guy in armor, like riot gear, but you just have to wear whatever the game throws at you that has the best stats, which is stupid. Or unless you find like an armor set and a clothing set, but that's basically it. So that was another big letdown. And you might think that maybe I had too many expectations for this game, but it's like, dude, they were hyping this game up like it was gonna be the best game in the world. They were selling me this game as if it was gonna be the best game of this generation, and it's not. And I'm not saying that it can't be. Maybe in the future, maybe in 2 years, when this game gets fixed, maybe. Because I want to say this, I do like this game. I do enjoy this game. It might sound like I hate this game. It was just a disappointment. I still think it's a good game, but it was still disappointing on at the same time. And it has potential. Like, it has the world. They have established an amazing world, an amazing setting with great lore. They got all that right. It was just the execution that was wrong. And it was just basically that they didn't have enough time. Because I can guarantee you that if they had at least, another year or two, this game would have been, worthy of that 9 out of 10. Worthy of game of the year material. But right now it's just a good game. It's a good game. It's not an amazing game. It's not a masterpiece. It's just a good game with a lot of potential. And this game has a lot of potential. That's the truth. It has a lot of potential. And I'm I'm curious to see what CDPR is gonna do. You know, what's next for CDPR after this. I think that they have a lot of work to do. You know, this year is gonna be a busy year for them because they have to fix everything. They have to try to salvage their reputation. They have to do whatever it takes to restore back that belief, you know, that the gamers had for them. You know, do I think this game will get better? Of course. I want to say probably 2 years. In 2 years this game will be complete, because it has the potential. You know, they have the world, the lore, everything about this world is amazing. And that's the one thing that I do commend them, is they created an amazing world and an amazing lore, and they just have to build off of that, you know. And hey, if they ever make a sequel to this game, I'm sure that they'll learn from their mistake. I'm sure that they'll learn from it, and maybe the sequel will be the masterpiece that we all thought this was gonna be. You know, maybe that's until the sequel. Unfortunately, you know, that'll probably be in another, 10 years, whenever that it comes out. If they ever make a sequel, it'll be like another 10-year wait, and we'll all be elders by then. Who knows, right? And also that multiplayer, that who the hell knows what the hell is going on with that multiplayer. Honestly, I never really cared about that. I think they should just scrap the multiplayer out, because it's like, dude, oh my god, I don't know, multiplayer. If the game is broken, just imagine a multiplayer. I don't even know what kind of multiplayer they would even implement. Like, is it like a co-op type of deal, like a horde mode, or is it like a competitive type, like Call of Duty, a battle royale? I don't know. I mean, honestly, they should just scrap it. I think they should just scrap their multiplayer and just focus on fixing the game. Maybe add the content that was cut. Try to, the DLC, whatever DLC they come up with, has to be top notch. Maybe with the implementation of DLC, they'll be able to add in content, because games have done that, where they've added a lot of content through their DLCs. One example is Fallout 4, Far Harbor. I think Far Harbor was probably the best DLC in Fallout 4, because Fallout 4 for me was another huge disappointment. It was so streamlined, just streamlined for casuals again. Another game that was streamlined for casuals. But a lot of hardcore Fallout fans complained, and they voiced their opinions, and Far Harbor added those missing RPG elements that Fallout is known for. And so I'm hoping that whatever DLC they come up with is able to introduce missing elements, those RPG elements that all of us RPG fans, Witcher fans, Mass Effect fans, Dragon Age fans really love. Because at this point, you can't say that Cyberpunk is better than Mass Effect. I'm sorry, but it's not. Maybe it's better than, it's better than Andromeda, but that's not much, because Andromeda was trash. But it's not better than Mass Effect 1 through 3. I can say that for a fact. It's not better than Dragon Age Origins. It's not better than Dragon Age 2. Maybe it's better than Inquisition, because Inquisition was my least favorite. But in terms of RPG elements, in terms of story, in terms of characters, relationships, world building, impact, it's not better than any of those games. Because like I said, the game has no real impact. The world is not a living, breathing world. They also try to to emphasize how this world is alive and that everyone has their own, story in their own life, but that's not true. Every NPC is just brain dead. NPCs don't do anything, they don't go anywhere, they don't have any meaningful conversations, nothing really. They're just there. They don't even feel alive, unlike other games. Your choices in the game don't impact the world, they don't change the world. Your choices that you make in the story don't change the world. They don't have an impact on the world around you. Like I said, you can do a mission where you kill a certain faction, members of a certain faction, and nothing will happen. You can go drive around their base and stuff, and they won't shoot you, they won't attack you. So how is that a good thing? It's not. It's just it's obvious that they didn't have time to design that or implement that in the game. They didn't have time to put those elements in the game because there just wasn't enough time. Because Cyberpunk is a huge game. It was a huge game. It was an ambitious game, and I'm impressed with what they were able to create, but I wasn't impressed with the implementation of it. The game world, like I said, the game looks amazing. The world is amazing. The characters look great. The cars, just everything about the game is just so awesome and so amazing. It just makes me feel like, I'm in Mass Effect / Blade Runner combined. And that's what saddens me the most, is the amount of potential that this game had. Just if you're a huge RPG fan and you play this game, you know what I'm talking about. That potential that was just wasted. You could feel like this game had so much more to offer, but it was just so streamlined. So much content was cut. Could you imagine this game being a mix of Mass Effect / Dragon Age / Fallout New Vegas / GTA 4 and 5 open world? Just imagine all those games that I just said. Imagine all those elements sprinkled into this game, but actually done well. This game would have been a masterpiece. And I have a feeling that it could have been, but again, they didn't have enough time, and they just rushed it instead of taking their time like they said they were going to. They literally said it's coming when it's ready, and the game wasn't ready when it came. It wasn't ready, so they lied. They lied about a lot of things. They basically what's it called? Yeah, they lied. They misinformed a lot of people. They misled. That's what I'm trying to say. They misled people into thinking this game was going to be something, and then when they played it, it was something else. And apparently they're getting sued. Apparently they're being sued, and there's a lot of other lawsuits aimed at CDPR, and CDPR right now is in a storm right now. They're in a real bad storm, and they gotta fix it somehow. They gotta save their reputation, because right now their reputation is in the dumps. And it's funny because all the shills that they were catering to, they all abandoned them. They said, "Oh, F you, I'm gonna appease my fans because my fans say this game is crap, and now I'm gonna say it's crap." So there you go. You reap what you sow. It's sad what happened. It's sad that it took this in order to get them to wake up. And CDPR, they gotta take it. They gotta take the hits, and they know themselves that they effed up. They effed up, and they admitted it. And now they have to, now they gotta clean up their mess, and they have to prove to the fans that they really do care. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the coming months, in the coming year. Because I'll say that probably this game will be finished in 1 to 2 years. And we'll see what happens by then. But that's the thing. Unfortunately, it sucks that you have to wait all this time to get the complete product. When the game was supposed to be finished when they released it December 10th. I really hate when games do this, companies do this, where they release a broken game and they're like, well, in 2 years the game's gonna be fixed and it's gonna be amazing. And it's like, well, I didn't buy the game so that I could wait 2 years to get the finished product. I bought the game so that I could play it now and have the finished product now, so I could fully enjoy it now. And that's just the way the industry has become. A lot of games nowadays, they release broken games, unfinished games, and they're like, well, we'll just finish it by, we'll just patch it and it'll be fully completed, next year. And people are okay with that. They're like, well, you always hear people say, well, it's okay because the game is going to be patched and it's going to be fixed next year and it's going to be amazing. And it's like, well, again, I didn't buy this game so that I could play it next year. And I don't know, who knows if we'll be around, who knows if people are going to stick around that long for this game to be fixed. Because a lot of people, they already dropped this game. I had my 2 friends who they bought the game day 1 and they beat it and they dropped it. They don't even play it anymore. It's it. There's no replay value in this game. There's no replay value because there's no choices. There's no significant choices. There's nothing different. Everyone has the same experience aside from the ending. That's it. Everything else is the exact same. It's not like BioWare games like Mass Effect or Dragon Age, where you can literally have like 5-6 playthroughs with different choices, different romances, different paths, different class, different factions that you side with. There's none of that here. And you beat the game once, maybe twice, and that's it. You already experienced everything there is to offer, because the garbage little side quests, they don't count. They're just more of the same. You just go and kill this group of gangs, and then you collect the bounty, and that's it. Wow, such great content. The police missions are a joke as well. And speaking of that, you could tell that they wanted to do so much more with the police in this game, because if you actually look at the teaser in this game, teaser of this game is very interesting, because it shows the police firing at a woman who has her mantis blades, and it's like apparently she killed like a bunch of people, right? And there's like a super cop behind her pointing a gun at her head, and then it cuts to them in like an armored car, and it's the same cop that was pointing his gun at her and the girl that was there in the street getting shot at, and she's a cop now. So it's like she was a criminal and then she became a cop in like a special forces type of deal. And it's like this it kind of gave me like a Judge Dredd vibes. Like you were, the story was gonna revolve around that. Like you're gonna join a police special ops force taking down. Like it kind of, I don't know. It kind of reminded me. That's why I got excited, because, like I said, I love Blade Runner. It's like in Blade Runner, you're kind of like a cop and taking down replicants, which are basically like cyborgs and synthetic humans or whatever. But no, they just kind of like scrapped that. The police are a joke. Like literally, they're a joke. They are a freaking joke. Like it's just it's kind of sad, that it turned out this way. But I mean, is it a bad game? No, it's a good game. Is it worth it right now? I mean, if you have a decent PC and you really want to play it, I mean, sure, but honestly, I'd wait for a sale, which I'm very surprised they haven't released a sale for this game. I'm actually very surprised that they have not put this game on sale. After everything that happened, you would at least think they would put this game on sale. But I guess they don't want to lose money, and that's what I guess. They don't want to lose money. But shit, that's the least they could have done. Put this game on sale. Would have saved me some money instead of paying $60 goddamn for this crap. But I mean, I'd say wait for a sale. Wait for a sale. Who knows? There might be a sale later this month or maybe next month. $50, $40-50 would be a good price if you're gonna play it on PC. Base consoles, I would say nah. Don't even touch this game. It's just bad. It is very bad. Even with the updates and patches, it's just, I mean, why would you want to play it on that anyways? I mean, CD Projekt Red didn't care enough to even optimize the game for the base consoles, because they just didn't care. They didn't care. They didn't have enough time, and they were like, let's just release whatever is there, and who cares? Maybe they won't notice. That's what they were secretly hoping, that people wouldn't notice. But of course people were gonna notice. But that's basically it. I mean, I think the lesson that needs to be learned here is just don't believe the hype. I've learned not to believe hype anymore. If a game is overly hyped and you got all these YouTubers and influencers and all these shills just chilling for the game, then just don't believe it. Don't believe it. I mean, because it's like a recipe for disaster. I mean, look at Marvel. The amount of shills for that game was incredible. And that game is dead. Like literally, it's dead. Who is even playing Marvel Avengers? Who is playing that game? All those shills that were screaming, mouths wide open, they're not playing the game. Well, they got paid and that's it. They got their money and they dipped. They don't care. That's why I don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype, guys. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe these shill YouTubers. Do not believe what they say. They are not genuine people. All they care about is money. That's what they're here for. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, like, hey, you do you. But I'm just letting you know, these people are not genuine. They don't care about you. They don't care about the gaming industry. They don't care about games. All they care about is money. Okay? That's what they care about. You think these people care that Cyberpunk came out like this? You think these people care that Avengers is dead? They don't care. They care about money. Don't believe the hype. If a game is overly hyped, like how Cyberpunk turned out, then it's a possibility this game is gonna fail. Because a good game doesn't need all this hype. It doesn't need all this hype, doesn't need all this marketing, it doesn't need to hire well-known actors and all these social media influencers and YouTubers and all. It doesn't need all that to be a good game. But it is what it is. All we can do is hope that CD Projekt Red comes out from this and they fix the game, they release some amazing DLC, and hell, who knows, maybe they could come out with a sequel and hit it out of the park, you know. That's just me, that's just wishful thinking. But anyways, that's basically it. I mean, I already rambled for way too long. I think it's like almost an hour of just talking. But you know, I enjoy watching the 1 hour, 2 hour videos of people talking. I enjoy that, so I hope you guys do as well. And that's basically it, you know. I hope you guys enjoyed my opinions and my thoughts, and let me know what you guys thought about this game. Did you guys love it? Am I just saying nonsense, or am I speaking facts here? Anyways, it's gonna be it. I will see you guys on the next video.